Yo, my name is Vosk, and I'm a full-time miner, and that means that I have to pay attention to mining news. And that means that I have some actually pretty bad Bitcoin mining news, especially just for Bitcoin investors, hodlers, holders, right? And really just anyone buying into cryptocurrency right now. We got certified bearish news. This is very bad from just a fundamental analysis point of view. Like it's not TA, we don't look at the chart, look at some patterns and make some shit up. This is the real deal, and we're gonna break it down. But there is a little bit of light in the darkness, which I will cover today as well when it comes to at least Bitcoin miners. So let's do it.
And here we go.
Public Bitcoin miners are selling off BTC reserves as crypto winter sets in. Scary. And here's the big news flash. Boom, 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 everything popping off on the screen. If public Bitcoin miners sell large portions of their supply, it could contribute to pushing the Bitcoin price further down, says crypto data firm Arcane Research. Okay, so it's a bear market, no doubt about that. Bitcoin mining companies, usually the ultimate hodlers, have started selling their stashes. Publicly traded Bitcoin miners like Marathon Digital and Riot Blockchain sold more Bitcoin than they produced last month. That's bearish as f***. How else do we need to, just frame that? If they're forced to liquidate a considerable share of these holdings, it could contribute to pushing the Bitcoin price further down. So, Toronto-based Bitfarms sold 3,000 Bitcoin, almost half of its supply, to reduce debt. The plan going forward also for them is to no longer hodl all of their daily Bitcoin production, and that means that they're going to be selling a large portion of that. They claim to remain bullish long-term on BTC price appreciation, but this is a strategic change, and it enables them to focus on their top priority, like maintaining their mining farm operations and growing their business in anticipation of improved mining economics. As far as public companies go, though, miners have accumulated a lot of Bitcoin. In fact, 7 of the 10 largest Bitcoin treasuries belong to miners. Core Scientific, with almost 10,000 BTC, 8,497 per Bitcoin treasuries here. Marathon Digital, 8,133, HUD 8, 7,078, Riot Blockchain, 6,536, Hive Blockchain, 4,032, Bitfarms, 3,075, and Argo Blockchain at 2,317. And all I wonder is if they have some Bitcoin for me. I'm just kidding. Those comments get annoying. It's like we get all these comments on YouTube like, hey Voss, give us your miners. I'm like, no. If you want a miner, go buy a miner. Just like I want Bitcoin, so I'm building out a solar-powered Bitcoin mining farm to, spoiler, mine Bitcoin. Hell yeah, let's go. So, still, it's worth noting that these publicly traded miners only account for 20% of the hash rate on the 206 million terahash per second Bitcoin network. When taken as a whole, Bitcoin miners look to be holding on to their Bitcoin, and their supply has barely changed since January. Zach Voll, an analyst in Bitcoin mining software company Brains, Slush Pool, familiar with all that. Bitcoin miners are now holding a total balance of 2.59 million BTC. That's absolutely insane. The number dropped exactly 0.61% since January 1st, and that data is very recent. Going over to Bitmain's web shop, watch out for scam sites and impersonators for them, everything like that. So the S19 Pro, okay, so that's weighing in at only $6,000 per miner right now. The S19, forget the Pro version, okay, $4,000. S19 XP, 11 grand. That thing was selling for significantly more just a month or so ago. And this is what they call futures delivery. This isn't spot or in stock right now, ready to ship. You'll get this sometime between, October 2022 and March 2023. That's quite a window, Bitmain. It's really a winning position for Bitmain and Bitmain only there. So a very interesting time as we see Bitcoin mining prices or miner prices come crumbling down. And this is the first time we've seen this really over the past 2 years, where like 4 years ago you could get an S9 for, $50, $100. Then they went up to being worth over like $1,500 again. That's a 15x or more just in a Bitcoin miner that's several years outdated, old tech, right? Plus, you know, a power supply for like $50. That's, I don't know, insane stuff right there. Just kind of like Mr. Elon Musk is apparently leading a Dogecoin Ponzi scheme. As with all bearish things, the lawsuits come out in full force. Tesla CEO Elon Musk is facing a class action over his Dogecoin hype. The complainant alleges Musk's tweets and public messaging drove a significant price spike in Doge and encouraged people to invest. Those people would ultimately feel the fallout when Doge price took a nosedive. So basically, everybody was cool with Mr. Musk. Damn, that was close. You hear that thunderstorm? I'm scared now. But anyway, the point is everybody's all happy donuts and butter sandwiches when the bull market's here. But guess what? You're crying in the bear market. Same old story. Look at these interesting metrics that the block just put on their homepage. And they have a lot of data that, you know, you can pull through their basically on-chain data stuff. And the takeaway here is number of active addresses on the Solana network. This is very steady growth recently, but keep in mind that it's so cheap to transact on Solana. This could really all be basically fake. I'm not saying that's the case by any means. It's kind of, you know, a little bit of grain of salt, right? Whereas, like, for example, pumping up the active addresses on Ethereum is incredibly difficult because you'll go broke very quickly doing that because Ethereum is so expensive to transact on. But anyway, that's a little bit of an aside. I just kind of wanted to address that like potential criticism up front. And this is where it becomes more interesting as we look at the active addresses and the 7-day moving average here daily, and we see, you know, a couple of bull run crazy spikes, and we see, you know, basically the second wind at the end to 2021. But big increase here recently. But let's look at the value moved on chain. So huge numbers here, really through the second wind in the end of 2021, and then basically up until the big sell-off here. And a lot of value moved on chain through the early 2022, but it's become very stagnant recently. Personally, I think Solana is going to be what Ethereum has been the last 2 bull runs, but the next bull run, if you kind of get what I'm saying. And back to our regularly scheduled programming here. We've got Digital production slump continued into Q1. The Bitcoin miner has struggled to recover its hash rate since moving its operations out of China. This is not they're not the only ones dealing with this issue. So look at these numbers, look at these metrics. It's pretty crazy. So the firm mined 195 Bitcoin and 189 Ethereum in the first quarter of 2022, bringing its revenue to 8.6 million. Okay, in the first quarter of 2021, again, very different scenarios here, but still they marked 44 million in revenues. Okay, they also noted a net comprehensive loss for quarter 1 2022 of 10 million. That's painful, compared with a 35.8 million profit for the same period last year. The firm had to move its mining rigs out of China when the government banned crypto mining in May 2021, which we talked about here on the channel, which is pretty devastating news for those impacted. As a U.S. citizen and miner, you know, actually it's interesting the way it impacts me and other United States miners, because a lot of that hash rate, a lot of those miners and mining rigs all made their way over to the United States as being what a lot of people would consider the next best option for Bitcoin mining and just a decent government landscape. I know it seems ironic with our SEC, but it's not like the government just rolls up and takes your stuff around here. They just roll up and take all of your money through taxes. It's a lot of fun. It's great. You should try it. Just kidding. Don't. It sucks. So, yeah, they moved their miners in November 2021, but only 40% were deployed as of March 2022. A lot of hurdles. I mean, moving a massive mining operation is incredibly expensive, not just from the logistics, right, and literally just shipping your stuff around, right, but also your downtime. That downtime is huge losses as well. So, you know, frustrating, difficult scenario there. Bit Digital also came under scrutiny with an explosion. First a hum and then a bang. Niagara Falls residents forced to reckon with crypto mining. That sounds like some crybaby news report. The city of New York has imposed a moratorium on new Bitcoin mining operations as complaints about noise were compounded by an explosion and fire at a mining site last week. And yeah, so this happened at BitDigital, but BitDigital blamed it on the power company, and they say that they're going to be pursuing a claim against them. This did result in the power being cut off for 2,515 Bitcoin miners and 710 Ethereum miners, but apparently, fortunately, the explosion and fire didn't seriously damage the machines or the building. Well, my power just went off and on, and I'm back. So let's go ahead and finish out this video. Luckily, I saw the writing on the wall with that big thunderstruck kaboom, and paused my footage about 3/4 of the way through because the last quarter has since been canceled and corrupted. But what I said right before the lights went out, I was rolling with my flow, and I was like, but it's not all bad news. Yes, there's some good news. Okay, so we got Black Hills signing a deal to power Bitcoin mining in Wyoming. This is a publicly traded utility, and they plan to deliver up to 75 megawatts of power to a new mining operation in Cheyenne. Okay, Black Hills Energy to provide power to I'm thinking of Green Hills, you know. Let's go Sonic. Let's go. I mean, have you seen the 2 new movies? They're good. I think they're fun and enjoyable, especially if you're a Sonic nerd. And where do you think Tails' name came from? Come on, put 2 and 2 together. It's Tails miles per hour Vosk. Okay, so Black Hills Energy to provide power to a Bitcoin mining operation in Cheyenne, Wyoming for at least 5 years. The agreement is the company's first forced service under its blockchain interoperable service. You know that's an acronym. Under the BIS tariff, which it began seeking in 2018. Obviously very clear there on the heels of the 2017 cryptocurrency bull run where Bitcoin went parabolic and miners rushed to build out bigger and better and just more mining farms. So, of course, in the depths of crypto winter, it was approved when probably no one in crypto really even cared. Okay, because we were all sad then. We were all sad boys. We were sad boys before Gen Z. Okay, because we're in a crypto winter and you watch your net worth literally evaporate. Okay, it's pretty frustrating, depressing, and it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. So the tariff was approved by the Wyoming Public Service Commission, again the YPSC, in 2019. Under terms of the tariff, customers who are able to have power disrupted at the utility company's discretion will receive a $2 credit adjustment per kilowatt hour. An agreement similar to the relationship between Texas-based crypto miners and the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, ERCOT. The big takeaway with this is that, like, let's be honest, they're shoving electric vehicles down your throat, whether you like them or not. All right, and the electric grid isn't going to be able to keep up with this. Okay, electricity costs are going to skyrocket. The demand on the grid is surging at an astronomical rate. We've gone past the era of making things better and more efficient. Like, yeah, LED light bulbs are great, but guess what? Now you're driving with electricity and not gas, fossil fuels. Okay, it's the changing of an era. Look, I think electric cars are really cool, but I'm also not so just naive that I can't see that this archaic electricity infrastructure is not built for this new era they're trying to really usher in by literally banning gas-powered vehicles. Okay, look at third world countries that have power cycling. There are some places in the US that actually have to, cycle some power, or you get hit with demand rates. Guess what's going to happen in the summer when it's hot and AC units are cranking and everybody's driving everywhere? Yeah, you're going to pay more for electricity. It's the best time ever to be building out solar panels. Why? Because all of this is the writing on the wall. There's more than one reason why I'm building out a solar-powered Bitcoin mining farm. Okay, and I hope that I'll produce a ton of electricity. And I hope I also have the opportunity to sell it back to the grid, right, and make a killing. I want to be a just solar power mogul, okay? Like, forget Carnegie and the Rockefellers, all right? It's the solar mining era, and we're ready. I'm joking, but I'm serious, and this is really gonna hurt a lot of miners, if they're not prepared for this, and I get it, solar has a high upfront cost and your cost per kilowatt hour is very high, compared to just pulling cheap rates from the grid. But those cheap rates, in my opinion, will continue to evaporate. You sign some deals with big money and shake some hands and stuff like that. It may be a different, situation. But understand, it's not always all peachy with the government. Because Iran is going to cut electricity to authorized crypto miners. Wake up, you fools. Okay? I mean, I'm just kidding on that one. They say love-hate relationship, but it's really just hate. So check. This is crazy, right? The government is again restricting crypto mining activity as it tries to ease the strain of the country's power supply, despite knowing the promise of crypto as a way to evade international sanctions, because they are literally under sanctions. Okay, so electricity to all 118 government-authorized mining operators in Iran will be cut off from June 22nd ahead of seasonal spikes in power demand. This was per the spokesperson for their power industry leader, okay? In 2019, they officially recognized the crypto mining industry and began issuing licenses to miners, which pay higher electricity fees, not lower, higher. And they sell their mined bitcoins to their central bank. Do with the information what you will. It's interesting. And I read stuff like that. I'm like, yo, I'm proud to be an American, even though we got to deal with Gary and good old Gary Gensler and the SEC and his buds. But that's a different issue, a different battle. Looking over at some of the profitable Bitcoin miners you can buy right now, right? We have these different miners here. I haven't personally seen and tested the Apollo B2. I don't know anyone also who's even using it. If you've been using it, I'd love to know down in the comments below. But that's one I would personally steer clear of right now. I'm trying to get my hands on one, but it's more difficult than you would think. Looking at the profits, you're like, oh yeah, I like that. Oh yeah. I'm like, dude, stop saying oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, we're done. But we go up to 10 cents per kilowatt hour. You're not saying oh yeah as much, okay? So at 10 cents per kilowatt hour, only the most recent and most efficient Bitcoin miners from Bitmain stay in a green bar. So 10 cents per kilowatt hour is a good residential electric rate here in the US of A. And the S19 XP is the best Bitcoin miner you can order right now. But it's pretty expensive, and you could get 2 S19s, or really almost 3 S19s for the same price. And depending on your electric rate, wouldn't you rather have almost 300 terahash a second instead of 140? Yeah, it's double the hash, but you'd be putting in triple the electricity. So again, that depends on your electrical situation. And it only gets worse, right? This thing goes up to 12 cents, and now we only have 1 in the green. Where do you go red when it comes to Bitcoin mining? Right now, with these metrics, current prices, everything at the time of recording this video, at 19 cents per kilowatt hour, you cannot mine Bitcoin. It's not profitable. You're losing money to mine it. That's a losing game. And you can only play losing games short term and kind of work the numbers to your benefit as a business. It's all the professional. Not long term. I mean, that's you literally. I mean, you're losing money. It's obvious. You know this. You're smart. I can tell because you're watching the channel. But yeah, that's basically the situation here. Bad news, good news, I guess. Bad news, obviously the bearish information, big miners selling, dumping. Those big mining farms are cash businesses, and you'd be a fool to think they give a shit about Bitcoin and crypto. I say that personally, knowing a lot about this industry and some of these mining farms in particular. So just understand that a lot of them being publicly traded want to put on this guise like they're these superheroes. But what do they do? What are they're nothing more than just service providers, if not simply leeches on the ecosystem. And that's why a lot of cryptocurrencies don't launch with proof of work anymore. They don't want to be mineable, and that's why there is a big use case and pitch for proof of stake, is changing your blockchain consensus mechanism. Why pay miners to just mine your coin and dump it? Yeah, I think proof of work is like one of the coolest things ever, but like anything else, it can also be abused. So, hey, the good news is that Bitcoin miners are cheaper than ever in recent history. That's cool. That's exciting, especially for me personally, as I am going to be buying a large amount of Bitcoin miners when I get my farm a little bit more operational. Still in the early building stages, but we are actually literally building, and that's pretty cool and exciting. Just like we're also building the channel, so you better slap that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts below. As always, seriously, thanks for watching, and I hope I see you tomorrow as well. Have a good one.